like to introduce you to Craig Taylor. Craig has quite a varied background. He started as a trainer in the army, moved on as a learning technologist in the nuclear industry, and is now a solutions consultant for EPIC. This afternoon he's going to show us how to use YouTube for training.
Yeah, listen, I really appreciate that. There's a URL on the screen here. It's a Wall Wisher account. If you do log in, if you want to contribute to that Wall Wisher, then please do. It's just a space for you to leave any online questions, feedback, have conversations amongst each other, so on and so forth. It's absolutely not a must-do. It's just there if you want to do it during this event or after this event. There's a space for you to have that online conversation. There are my details. You know I'm Craig Taylor. If you want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter ID is CraigTaylor74. I know I don't look it, but don't embarrass me by saying so. And I also blog at taylorit.com. Taylor with a Y, not an I. It's just a little play on word because of my name. Taylorit.com is my blog, and I tend to rant on there about many things learning technology related. Some of them are sometimes useful. I've just been introduced, so you now know who I am and what background I come from, and I think it's important to set the tone of this for anybody who's new to using YouTube. I think it's important to tell you what I'm not. And what I'm not is a coder. What I'm not is a programmer. What I'm not is somebody with the kind of backgrounds that I know many of you have. But you don't need to be, okay? You don't need to be to use YouTube. What I don't come from is an academic background. I joined the army at 16, so you might have some indication there as to what my kind of academic background has been. You don't need to come from that sort of background to use YouTube. What you do need to do, though, to use it effectively, is do a little bit of research, a little bit of reading, a little bit of discovery, a little bit of falling over and scuffing your knees a few times, and then getting back up, and then carrying on and using YouTube again. That's how I learned to use YouTube. It hasn't come from any sort of understanding how YouTube works, or how algorithms work, or anything like that, because you don't need to have that kind of background or that level of interest to be able to use YouTube effectively. You've got to do what you're doing today, which is be prepared to learn and discover and find out more. We'll do some of that during today's session. Anybody heard of the flipped classroom approach? Do you mind explaining what it is briefly, what your understanding of it is?
So it's flipping the stuff that you normally give for homework, and then you do the lecture in the class. It's sort of getting them to do the research and reinforcing in the class.
Yes, yeah, my understanding as well, and that's what I've attempted to do with this particular session. So, could I have a show of hands for the people who've accessed at least one of the online videos that I've put up in advance of this session? Wow, significant majority, if not all. So thanks ever so much for doing that. Hands up if you contributed to one of those videos, either video response or text response. Okay, significantly smaller, but still, there's still some people in here who've done it, which is fantastic, thank you. I've taken this flipped approach for two reasons. One, this session is 30 minutes long. It's not long to get across much context. Secondly, once the session is over, it's over. It's happened, it's been and gone. You're left with the notes you've got. The videos are obviously there forever, so I took the time to actually put more effort into creating the videos than you probably recognise I put into actually putting these slides together. So I've taken that flipped approach for that reason. It's something new to me. It's an experiment, if you like. Thanks for being the second batch of guinea pigs today. But also I think it's probably of more use to you that content sits online rather than I show you it currently in 30 minutes and hope that you remember it in the future. There are the videos sat there. 1 through to 5. I've just put a 6th one up over lunchtime today. It's not an instructional video, it's more me kind of just scanning around the classroom saying, here I am, the first session's about to start, blah, blah, blah. So there is a 6th session now, there is a 6th video available on YouTube for you to look at. There will also be a 7th, and we'll come to the 7th one and why I've not done it yet later on during this particular session. I work for an organisation that sells products to people. Some of that doesn't sit comfortably with me, I must admit, because you've heard from my background, I've always worked in work-based learning. I was a trainer in the army. I was a learning technologist in the nuclear industry. I then obviously am working on the other side of that relationship, and I now work with those organisations, or organisations similar to that, to deliver and develop and sell e-learning products. Some of that doesn't sit comfortably with me because I think there's a fantastic amount that many organisations can actually do for themselves for free or at very, very, very little cost to themselves. Part of that involves you opening up your toolkit, looking at the tools that you've already got, the platforms, the systems, the software, the accounts that you already have, and figuring out, are you maximising their usage to the nth degree? Are you wringing every last drop of investment that you've made in them, whether a financial investment or the investment of time to set up the account such as YouTube? Are you wringing every last drop that you can out of them? My guess is you're not. I doubt anybody truly is. One of the purposes of this session is to prod and poke you to have a look at YouTube more closely after this event's finished and figure out what can you do with it other than just direct learners to videos or just upload videos of your own. What else can you do with it? There is a lot more that you can do with it. I've created at least 5 videos worth of stuff that you can do with it. There's a lot more as well. I'm creating a 7th, of which I'll give you a sneak preview during this session. So go away after this. Even if you forget YouTube, if you don't want to use YouTube, I urge you to have a look at the tools you've already got in your toolkit and are you using them effectively. One of those YouTube videos that I want to show, those little sort of shortcuts to doing things, I'd actually like to show you now. Imagine you find a piece of video on YouTube, either a piece that you've created and uploaded, or you found on YouTube that somebody else has created and you've looked at the content and think it's really relevant, but it's 14 minutes long. And actually the bit I want my learners to focus on comes in at 9 minutes. I can either say in the email, log in at 9 minutes or fast forward to 9 minutes, or actually with a tiny little bit of jiggery pokery with the URL, you can launch that video at the point you want your learners to start looking at the content, and I'll show you how to do that. This is the video that's not been uploaded yet, for one good reason. I only discovered that you could do it on the train on the way here yesterday. I haven't done a screencast yet to show you how to do it. So I'll show you now how to do it. Very simple, it's very quick, but I will do a screencast and upload it in the future. So keep following that UCISA social media hashtag. Okay, so here's a video on social media revolution. Many of you will have seen this, I'm sure. It's 2 minutes 4 seconds long. Admittedly, in the big scheme of things, even if you watched all of that, it's not a huge chunk out of your day. But if you're talking about a video that's 10, 15, 20 minutes long, and you've got a lot of learners or a lot of employees wasting 10 minutes of that 20 minutes before they get to the real content, that's a lot of time, whether your time, their time, your colleagues' time, my employees' time that's being wasted. So what you can do is you can look at the video, edit it, look through it, and find out the point in that video where you want it to start for your learners. I've done that with this video, and I want this to start at 1 minute and 20 seconds in. So what I can do is this, and don't forget this will be screencasted. I place a hashtag at the end of the URL, T equals time equals, T for time, 1N, 1 minute, 20S, 20 seconds. So I've just taken the standard URL, T equals 1N, 20 seconds, time equals 1 minute, 20 seconds. I can then copy that URL, I can pass it on to my learners in whatever method or fashion you pass it on, via email, via your LMS, your VLE, whatever. The learner then accesses that, the learner then launches it, and what you'll find is that it started at 1 minute 20 seconds at the YouTube part that I wanted it to start at. So having saved them 1 minute 20 seconds worth of time, yes, I know in the big scheme of things, does it really matter? I guess not. But over many students, over many courses, with videos that are much longer, there's a significant time saving there on getting the learner focused where they need to go at the point they need to go to it. Again, I will screencast that and put it up online after this event here. What I don't know yet, because I've not had time to play around with it, is when you change that URL, will it automatically adapt the embed code that goes with YouTube? So you can then embed that in a VLE, in your LMS, and the embed will start at 1 minute 20 seconds. I don't know whether it does yet, I've not had time to play around. Somebody this morning suggested even if it doesn't automatically do it, you could probably tinker with the HTML to allow it to start at that point then. So I'm sure there are ways and means around it. So there's one little extra tip on using YouTube that's not in the 5 videos that have already been uploaded, but it will become a 6th video. What I'd like you to do now, I'm very conscious, that there's a lot of talking going on stuff, and I want you to actually create a lot of your takeaways yourself today. So I'm going to ask us to break down into very simple teams, and they're going to be the rows that you're sat on, left to right rows. Could I just ask if somebody on the back row, in fact, Yeah, has somebody on the back row accessed at least one of the videos that I've put up online? What about the next row moving in? Somebody on the second row accessed at least one video? The next row? Thank you. And the end row here? Oh, that's brilliant. I'm not sure that it's absolutely crucial that somebody had, but what I'm going to ask you to do now for 10 minutes is to have a conversation in those 4 rows, congregate at the end of the, or middle of the table, wherever you want, just about YouTube. It can be as a result of something that I've just said. It can be a result of the videos that I've put online. It just can be a result of what you're doing yourself within your organisations, or what you're not doing within your organisations. Maybe there's a lot of learning to be had from that. Just have a free-form conversation around YouTube and how you are or aren't using it, why your organisation does or doesn't use it, the risks involved, the benefits involved. Then about 8 or 9 minutes, I'm going to ask you to concentrate on just one and prepare what it is that you're going to share with the other rows for the next couple of minutes. So over to you now until probably about 10 to 2 on yours.